Hello and welcome. We are so glad to have you here. If you're with us on Facebook or YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to get notifications when we have new videos. If you're with us on Zoom, drop a hi in the chat. We'd love to say hello back. If you're with us in the sanctuary, hello, everybody. And if this is your first time here, go ahead and sign our guest book either in the lobby or at oakcliffuu.org/guest. Today's sermon is Adventures in Failing with Matt Pargeter-Villarreal. All right, we have some really great stuff happening. When? Today, that's right. So get ready. Today at 2 o'clock, we have Jazz Jam. Everybody loves Jazz Jam. We always have a really great time. And tonight at 5, we have a drum ceremony by In Beats We Trust. So if you'd like to attend Jazz Jam, just show up ready to have an amazingly fun time with your friends. And if you'd like to attend the drumming event, contact Deneen or Sarah. You can do that at minister@oakcliffuu.org because there is limited space on that one. All right. Last week, I teased the first Tuesday film, and I have details on it this week. So on September 6th, we'll be screening The Death and Life of Marsha P. Johnson. What a great way to kick off the film festival. Screening is free, so mark your calendars. That is September 6th. So much fun. It was a very popular event that we had before, and I'm excited that we're bringing it back. All right, you know that we always have so much happening at the church, and we can't go into all of it here, so you are going to have to go and open your e-blast and actually read it. It only takes a minute, but you get so much. This week, you'll learn about updates on OWL training. Congrats to Joey for completing yours. Excellent job. Very exciting. We have updates on in-gathering, and we need your input because we need to figure out a date, and we need to do that soon because it's in September. There is a link to that in the e-blast under the president's message, so go find that. Widening the Circle of Concern has a lot going on, so please go and read that section. One, they're moving their work studies to, or their work group to Monday nights, and they are getting ready for a group reboot. The next group, if you haven't done Widening the Circle of Concern yet, please consider doing it. Quite a few of us have, and you get so much out of it. You really do. Lots of great anti-racism work, which we know is super important. So consider joining that if you haven't. Even if you have, go ahead, do it again. There's lots of stuff that we can do. All right, it is Sunday and we don't stop at the service. No, we have fun all day, especially today because of Jazz Jam and the drumming circle. So, but before that, we have talk back at 11:15. That's where we sit around as a group and talk about the sermon and related topics. You always get something out of it, whether you want to talk or just sit and listen. We also have adult religious exploration at 11:30 with Sarah. This week they are doing Heretic Arius and Unitarianism. All right, and finally, we have our member anniversaries. Always so much fun. This is a good one. Everybody give a happy UUCOC anniversary to Paul Fugile. Happy anniversary, Paul, to you and to everyone else out there. I hope that you all have a very happy Sunday.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Oak Cliff. We're happy to have all of you here this morning. And we have managed to illustrate our sermon topic this morning and giving you just a little bit of experience participating in this adventure of failing. Technology helped us out with it a little this morning. But we'll move along and we'll still have a great worship service together. Thank you for being here. May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, spirit of love, compassion, and forgiveness.
Que esta luz que ahora encendemos nos inspire a usar nuestros dones y poderes para sanar y no para herir, para ayudar y no para impedir, para bendecir y no para maldecir, para servirte a ti, espíritu de amor, compasión y perdón.
Our reading for today is entitled Found While Lost by Eric W. Martinez Wrestley. The beauty of the world is the mouth of a labyrinth, writes Simone Weil. We would be foolish not to follow its call. And so we enter the labyrinth, lured by the whiff of a dream still in the making, the possibility of a new relationship, the promise of a new career, the potential for a new beginning. We can never be sure what we will find once inside. But this much is certain. There will be times when the beauty of the world, and with it the entrance to the labyrinth, unexpectedly disappear. Some relationships will disintegrate, some careers will dissatisfy, some beginnings will disappoint. Unable to find the labyrinth's opening, we often find ourselves in frantic search of an escape, fumbling for the next step, tiring ourselves out in the process. Disheartened, dispirited, we feel disoriented. We get lost. The question is not whether we will get lost in life, but rather how we will move through it in faith. Will we dwell on everything that we have lost? Or will we focus instead on everything that we have yet to find? As it happens, there is much that awaits us in our lostness. Much to be excavated, examined, even exalted. In not yet knowing what will be, we are afforded the opportunity to appreciate what already is. The things hiding in plain sight. A frayed relationship, for example, may reveal our deeper needs. An unfulfilling career might motivate us to seek out a mentor. A misstart or a misstep may remind us of our own fragile humanity. It may claw open our hearts and sensitize us to the suffering of others. When lost, perhaps the greatest question our faith asks of us is this: how will we be found? Once the time is ripe, the stars align and the way begins to open, will we be ready to embrace the mystery anew? Will we choose to trust anew, to risk anew, to hope anew? Will we allow ourselves to yet again be drawn in, swept up, taken over by that magic that makes life worth living? In the words of Simone Weil, for if we do not lose courage, if we go on walking, it is absolutely certain that we will finally arrive at the center of the labyrinth. And there, God is waiting.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love that rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love that rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Will you join me now in reciting our covenant? Because we love one another, we learn each individual's spiritual journey. We celebrate life's abundance in service to each other, our community, and the world. We connect with each other in love, respect, and acceptance. Thus do we covenant together. And in Spanish. Porque nos amamos uno al otro. Honoramos el viaje espiritual de cada individuo. Celebramos la abundancia de la vida en el servicio entre sí, nuestra comunidad y el mundo. Ponemos en contacto a unos con otros en el amor, respeto y aceptación. Así que hacemos pacto. You're not alone with your sorrow, just as I'm not alone with mine. Our covenant right relations makes this so. You and I are bound by our promise to commune in community. The burden of a heavy heart is shared. A burden shared is a burden lightened.
When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love.
We also share our joys with one another. For that which brings you joy, makes you grateful, brings you peace. We, your sacred community, celebrate.
Spirit of light, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirs of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Failure is not an option. Most of us have probably heard those words before. It is a statement attributed to retired NASA flight director and manager Gene Kranz, who served as mission control and was instrumental in organizing the rescue efforts to safely bring back alive the members of the ill-fated Apollo 13 lunar mission in 1970. Kranz claims that he never uttered those immortal words. They were instead immortalized by Ed Harris in the 1995 movie Apollo 13 and have quickly entered popular culture. The words actually came from flight director Jerry Bostick when asked by Apollo 13 scriptwriters if there were ever any times when people in mission control panicked and did not know what to do. Bostick's reply was, no. When bad things happen, we just calmly laid out the options, and failure was not one of them. It is meant to convey the message that when there is so much at stake in a situation, a person simply needs to be rational and consider all the possible outcomes in order to be able to calmly choose which is the best choice for the situation at hand. Now, it's not in my nature to be cynical, and I am aware that there are people who will always find a way to succeed despite their circumstances. But I cannot help but look back at my life up to this point and wonder with just the slightest bit of sarcasm that if failure is truly not an option, why is it that my life has become so very good at finding it? Yet, amid my colossal failures, I have managed to discover something unexpected and wonderful that has been a byproduct of failing. As much as we are all motivated by the prospect of success, and as much as we all want to succeed, failure, as unfortunate and uncomfortable as it is, can be almost as much of a catalyst to change the direction of one's life as is success. It is in the moments of everything blowing up in our face that we are forced to tap into our creative potential and seek solutions about what we do next. And, as I have encountered through having to bounce back from so many failures, the direction that one's life can end up taking can be more beautiful and do more to prove the work of grace in one's life than we can possibly imagine. So I invite you to join me for the next 10 to 15 minutes as we embark on a journey of getting smacked in the face and crashing all the way down to the depths of rock bottom. Spoiler alert, there's a happy ending at the end of it all. From a very early age, I was fed the same familiar formula for success from both my parents. Work hard, go to school, get good grades, go to college, continue to get good grades, graduate college, and then go out into the world and find a good paying job that would help to set me up for the rest of my future career and future life. Unlike many others, I had the added pressure of being the only child to two parents that were living, breathing examples of success stories. My mom had gone on to earn a bachelor's degree in English and then a master's degree from Boston University, and was working in public relations for the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and Lawrence General Hospital in Massachusetts. My dad was the classic story of the immigrant living the American dream. After earning his degree in engineering, he left the UK and moved to the US to start a family with my mom, and had been slowly climbing his way up the corporate ladder ever since. To my credit, by the time I graduated, I had done a lot to live up to the expectations of success that had been thrust upon me. My grades were excellent. I was graduating as an Oklahoma academic scholar. I had a wide range of extracurricular activities and varsity sports to my name, not to mention being very active in the Anglican church that I had grown up in and attended. I had even managed to win a national championship in Quiz Bowl along the way. I was preparing to attend Catholic University of America in Washington, D.C., my favorite city in the U.S. I had received a generous scholarship. I was planning to double major in Spanish and secondary education. Everything was being set up and in place for me to live out the rest of my life, a life that was destined to achieve the success that I had been encouraged to pursue. When I arrived in DC, the reality soon became anything but that. I had moved more than 1,000 miles away from home to a school that was predominantly female, 88% Catholic, overwhelmingly conservative, and whose students came from about 4 states on the East Coast. To recap, I was male, Protestant, liberal, and coming from Texas. It became clear a few weeks after student orientation that I was an outsider with no chance of finding my way in. Extrovert that I am, this didn't stop me. I poured myself into my classes and attended social events, and I managed to acquire a group of a few friends along the way. I even signed up for the freshman retreat that was being held at a campsite in southwestern Maryland. I was determined to make the most of this opportunity and this situation that I had been given. It was the freshman retreat that would prove the most challenging moment of all. In the woods for several days, in a spirit of introspection and encouraged to reflect upon myself, I was forced to confront feelings surrounding my sexual orientation that had been swirling beneath the surface since the summer after high school graduation. After several days of agony, I made the decision that if I was going to be true about the future of my life from here on out, I needed to be honest to myself and to everybody about who I was. So, officially 2 weeks into my first year of college, I made the decision to come out as being queer. I also made the difficult decision to come out to the close friends that I had made so far in college. Initially, I received lots of hugs and messages of love and support. This doesn't change anything, they kept telling me. We still love and support you for who you are. I left the retreat feeling dramatically changed, but also hopeful about how the rest of the year was going to go. When we got back to DC, it became clear that everything had, in fact, changed. As the months went on, the more and more comfortable I became with myself and my sexual orientation, the less that the friends I had confided in became comfortable with me and slowly began to distance themselves from associating with me. I had come out in September of the fall semester. By March of spring semester, I had no friends left. No matter, I told myself, I didn't need anyone. I can take care of my emotional support needs myself, not realizing that I was not in any fit emotional state to be able to do this. I slowly began to downward spiral. Frustration at my situation led to depression. Depression led to being overwhelmed and tired and wishing that all these negative feelings would stop, which led to my first experience with rock bottom. At the time, I was taking a science class entitled Chemistry for Non-Chemistry Majors. We were talking about over-the-counter drugs like aspirin and acetaminophen, and the professor, for mere trivia's sake, mentioned about how many tablets would make up a lethal dose of Tylenol. I went back to my dorm room after the class to the bottle of Tylenol extra strength I had in my bathroom, counted out that many tablets, put them into a container, and put the container in the corner of my desk drawer, with the logic that if things ever got to be too much to handle, that this was my way out. I never did use them as my way out. A few weeks later, when I was laying down in my dorm room from what was probably more clinical depression than the headache that I claimed it was, I heard a voice as clear as day in my ear that said, and I quote, "What the F are you doing? Get off your ass and get to the counseling center because you need help and you need it now." To this day, I cannot explain the origin of that voice. I like to tell the story that this is when I knew that God spoke to me, but apparently the divine swears like a sailor if that is the case. Either way, it had its intended effect. I did get up and walked up the hill through the rain to the counseling center. And by the time that I arrived, any thoughts of self-harm had been erased from my mind, but they still made me sit down with one of the counselors and fill out paperwork. For those of you that have never had to fill out outpatient paperwork for suicidal ideation, this is 3 pages of asking questions such as, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love yourself? And what are the factors that would prohibit you from carrying through with your plan? It was not until I got halfway through the second page that I realized that this was no longer simply me not handling things well. This was my health in jeopardy. It was the wake-up call that I needed in order to make a change. I made the grueling decision to finish out the year and then moved back to San Antonio. I imagine that there are probably some of you listening to my story at this point and thinking to yourselves, oh, but you didn't really fail. Things just didn't go the way that you wanted them to. And in hindsight, you would be right. But at that point in my life, I couldn't hide the fact that I felt like a complete failure. Success to me had always been presented in this package of once you go to college, you were supposed to continue an upward trajectory without any interruptions along the way until your end goal of success is achieved. For me, I had taken a complete detour. My chance at life in my favorite city had come crashing down. My future at my dream university had completely blown up in my face. I had moved out on my own and was independent from my parents. Now I was moving back into my old house and my old bedroom with my tail between my legs. And to top it all off, I was starting over again as a completely different person that I didn't completely know or could name yet as myself. Failure had become more than an option. It was the new reality that I was now facing. I did promise you a happy ending, and as it turned out, moving back to San Antonio was exactly what I needed. In fact, my move back to Texas was the furthest thing from being a failure. It was the success that I needed in disguise. Being closer to family helped me succeed in feeling loved, which helped me succeed in learning to love myself again. I got to start over in a brand new school environment at the University of the Incarnate Word in San Antonio, but this time I got to be completely open and honest about who I was, and I succeeded in finding fellow classmates and friends who truly accepted and embraced me for it. I even got to be honest about my future. I changed my second major from secondary education to international studies because, while I have all the respect in the world for teachers and the work that they do, I discovered that it just wasn't for me. Once I made that choice, I found success in a degree plan that I was happy about, one that made me excited to go to school and pour myself into my studies. I was also successful in growing up a little. I got to date and eventually lucked out and achieved the greatest success of all, finding the person of my dreams who loved me for me, failures and all. And we were together when we were able to successfully realize a dream of both of ours, being able to get married both in the eyes of God and of the world. And that's not to say that the road from then until now did not have its share of failures along the way. There were struggles with alcohol that I had to overcome that cost me a career as a paralegal, a failure that I am still not proud of and that I'm still learning to talk about to this day. But even during that failure, I not only overcame the circumstances and found my way into recovery, but it led me down a completely different road to successfully finding the career path that I am now on that gives me the most purpose, being a minister. If anything, my constant string of failures has taught me that if you are going to have any chance at success, you need to redefine what success is and what it looks like. For so many years, I operated under the expectation of what others thought my success should look like and struggled to mold myself to that. But true success only comes when you personalize it, make it your own, and when you do so in spite of all of your circumstances. I also learned that the things that we see as failure and the things that we have been taught to view as failure or not living up to our potential are often golden opportunities to find the success that we desperately crave, if only we are willing to lean into them and see them for the possibilities that they are. So, as uncomfortable as failure may be, I know that it will be there. And every time that it comes up, I will curse and whine and get discouraged. But once that is all out of my system, I will grit my teeth and dust myself off and find a way to keep moving forward. I look at it like this. It is through all the failures that I have had so far which have led to me being here before you all and bearing my soul. If that is the result of failure, then I cannot wait to see what else the future has in store for me through my own adventures in failing. What about you, friends? What could be possible for you if you stopped seeing failure as the end of the world? What if, instead, it was the possibility that you had never expected to cross your path? Those questions are not for me to answer for you. I can only echo the words of Simone Weil that we heard in Eric Martinez Ressley's reading for today. For if we do not lose courage, if we go on walking, it is absolutely certain that we will finally arrive at the center of the labyrinth. And there, God is waiting. May it ever continue to be so. Blessed be. Amen. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. Namaste. Thank you all very much for this time that we have shared together.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May
we have chosen to enter into another covenant with one another. We, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Oak Cliff, commit ourselves to the study and dismantling of racism and oppression within our congregation. We commit our congregation and ourselves to the work of anti-racism and anti-oppression. We commit ourselves to listening, to learning, and to action. When we fail, we commit ourselves to trying again and again. We covenant to begin this work and to continue until all of us can truly say that we are a beloved community of justice, equity, and compassion.
For our widening moment this month, and notice I said month, we are dreaming and envisioning a better future. Remember Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream." When we were children, we had dreams, and we are still dreaming. If you'll notice the display over there on the wall, we are continuing and expanding the activity that was done last week about what does a beloved community mean to you? What does it mean to you? If you'll notice, they're passing out paper and writing supplies. We would like you to take a few minutes and write down your dream of what a beloved community is. You can write a poem, you can write your thoughts, you can draw a picture, whatever suits you. So we are going to give you a few minutes. If you do not finish, that's okay. You can finish later. You can bring it back next week. Or for those of you on Zoom, you can send it to WCOC@oakcliffuu.org. So we'll have a few minutes of silence and do your thing, write your dream. I would like to thank you for your time and your efforts. Please be sure to visit our first week's responses on the displays over here on my right.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. Veti ora simo a ti te do, así compartimos y vivimos hoy. Veti ora simo a ti te do, así compartimos y vivimos hoy. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. Veti
Closing words, Spirit of Creative Good by Virginia P. Knowles. Spirit of creative goal, Spirit of creative good, be with us when we are afraid. Grant us the courage to do what we have to do. Grant us the peace that passes understanding. When we fail to find courage or peace, may we find compassion for our brothers and sisters who also fail. May we sometimes win the prizes that we fight for, and may we then know both pride and compassion. May we be open to the candor of old age and to the freshness of childhood. May we give good memories. May we receive good memories. May we have faith, O God. Be merciful to us and help us to be merciful to one another and to ourselves. Amen. Namaste.
What wondrous love is this, oh my soul, my soul? What wondrous love is this, oh my soul? What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul. When I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down beneath my sorrow's ground, friends to me gathered round, oh my soul, oh my soul, friends to me gathered round, oh my soul. To love and to all friends I will sing, I will sing. To love and to all friends I will sing. To love and to all friends who pain and sorrow mend, with thanks unto the end I will sing, I will sing. With thanks unto the end I will sing.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevamos en el corazón hasta que estemos juntos otra vez.